the most challenging part of my 20s has definitely been finding some sort of balance in my life. I feel like I tend to overwork through everything. I overwork through my working life in medicine. There's so many things that we have to check off our list in order to keep improving ourselves. I feel like I'm always running behind and I'm always fighting against time. I think I've come to a realization that personally I do have to say no more often and just be able to step back and relax, because it's come to a point where I was really battling a burnout and I really needed to step back a little because things were getting too intense. And I do still feel like I want to have a more relaxed September and October. But yeah, I've been having lots of fun scheduling and planning my days, mostly prioritizing where I need to focus my time on, doing some journaling, also trying to not sacrifice my health immediately just because it's something that it's very easy to say no to because it affects no one else, just me. When I don't sleep well, or when I don't eat well, or when I don't exercise or do stuff for my mental health, I do a lot of planning on my physical planner. I print out habit trackers, I put them all over. I try to put alarms, and overall just have to self-reflect a lot about how I'm spending my time. Another tool that really helps me out is akiflow. Thank you so much to akiflow for working with me in today's video. So if you don't know what akiflow is, it is a time blocking program that allows you to keep track of your tasks. Very simple, swift move. Drag them to your schedule and be able to organize them. I love to color code my schedule and see exactly what parts of my life are taking up more space, seeing what little spaces actually are available for me to do my little tasks. I also this way am able to actually block out time in the beginning of the week, dedicate time for my health. I block out empty time so that I'm able to actually have a more balanced life. akiflow integrates with so many other programs like Gmail, Slack, Todoist, Notion, Trello. This way you can have all of these events synced together even though you're using multiple programs. For students, you can get a 40% discount of the plan, and if you have any questions about how to work with akiflow, you can actually book a one-on-one productivity call where you can get personal help setting up your schedule and working with akiflow. Thank you so much again to akiflow for working with me in today's video, and thank you so much to every single viewer for making this possible.
It is raining, but all I can see is the summer we spent. The letter in my wallet, I'll keep it till we meet again. You should never doubt it's true. I am not forgotten. Should move on and try and forget, but this is not another tragic love saga that dies in the end. The letter
is quite late at night. It's 1:30. I've been out of balance, like always. I've been talking about this, I think, more in the past few videos. At the end of the day, the idea of balance is just like a big old fallacy that I will never be able to achieve. It's just never going to be a point where I feel like I am balanced in this incredible equilibrium where I have everything on check. Quite happy with a development today. I changed the layout of my room in a very positive way. I feel like this was such a brain powerful move of me. I decided to swap the positions of my desk and my bed. This place where we are standing right here is where my bed used to be, and now my bed is against the wall under the window, and this just makes so much more sense to me. First of all, I feel like it opens up this space behind me. I'm able to reach my desk a lot better. Even though I love to have a seat next to a window, I kept being distracted, and as luckily this apartment gets a lot of sun, desk received a lot of direct sunlight to a point where I had to either pulling the curtains down or taking my books out because they would get sun damaged. Here next to a corner, I feel a lot more protected. I still have a great view of my bookshelf, of the window. I love the area of my bed as well. And now I have a big wall against me where I'm going to be able to decorate and do all that stuff. I have so many posters that I still have to put up. I'm being lazy and not putting them up. Behind me, I've only put like this poster and then 2 postcards, and I have more postcards against this wall right here. But I have so much more wall to decorate, and I have so much more little trinkets that I can use, but not really giving my space the credit that it actually deserves, because if you feel comfortable and safe in your place, it's so intentional and so powerful, I think, to take care of yourself in that way and assert yourself in the way that you exist and you live. And I definitely have been taking it for granted and kind of like downplaying it, but it's like what you see every single day, and it does change a lot. So yeah, today I wanted to journal a little. I wanted to update my journals. I have so many journals. It's actually like I am obsessed with journaling. These are not even all of my journals. I need help. Give an update to where they're at right now, because I do have a ton of them. This is just the journal that I free write in. So there's really like nothing much to it. I have free paper and I write freely. All of my thoughts, unfiltered, everything that kind of pops in my head and I need to get out. I typically use these black Tiger notebooks. I don't need fancy anything. I just need white paper and a pen. Ever since I've known myself, I've kept diaries and journals. These are the ones that stick the most the test of time, typically gravitate towards reading. If you just have a blank notebook, that's really the most important thing. I really should put a sticker to it, but I really like the bareness of it right now. So this journal, I desperately need to finish because it's been a couple of months since my trip to Paris and I got this notebook there, and I've been meaning to do a little collage of all of these moments. This is a very simple journal that I got at the Museum d'Orsay. Next, I got this quite recently. I started this in June, and I think in August I barely touched this at all. It's okay because this is a 5-year journal, so I'm gonna have 4 more years to kind of fill this out. It's okay if I don't fill this out every single day. I'm not expecting myself to. Again, I'm very sentimental. I like to write and look back on stuff. This is incredible to look back on certain moments of your life that feel so inconsequential. I look back at like 2 months ago and I think about all of these things that kind of were cycling through my head. Next, this is kind of a dump journal for me. I really like the compact size of it, and I like put random stuff from my day-to-day life. As you can see, I started this about 2 years ago. I write thoughts. Sometimes I write poems. Yeah, sometimes I just put tickets of stuff. Like this is a ticket from the Eras tour. Packaging stuff. This was a candle gifted to me. Collages. These are Polaroids that I got from Lisbon. This is a journal that, now my life has been really hectic, so I have saved all of these trinkets in my desk right now. This is really random, but I have these 2 bar tickets that I got when I went to Lagos with my friends. I love this journal so much, but I do feel like it needs to be retired. It's reaching the end, and I feel like I'm going to end the year here. Last year, I did not journal much at all. I did a challenge page, which I'm really excited about because I love it. I had really big trouble reading in 2023 because it was the year of my big exam. And then this year, there were a lot of difficult changes in my life, and there was also me starting to work and going through really hard, difficult circumstances, but that's something that I still have time to correct. It's still August. This notebook, I did film a setup for it, and I got it from a Portuguese store. I'm going to look for the exact same brand for my next reading journal. 2022 was a really good reading year for me. I did a spread for Song of Achilles, which was a book that I finished reading in 2021, but I just had to do a spread for it, and I loved this book so much. Don't look at this page if you don't want spoilers. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Oh, I did one for A Room of One's Own. Pictures that aesthetically remind me of the book, and then I basically write my thoughts and then quotes, or I print out quotes. Oh, Somebody's Daughter is a book that I feel like is so underrated. If you haven't read Somebody's Daughter and you really like memoirs, I highly recommend it. This is a page unfinished, apparently, for the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. Oh, The Secret History by Donna Tartt, such a good book. This is a spread for Not Here to Be Liked. I just remember that it was kind of underwhelming, but it has a cute aesthetic to it. A spread for Project Hail Mary. I really like how this one turned out. 2 nonfictions that nearly sent me into a reading slump. This is a spread for North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, and it is one of the best enemy to lovers book that I've read. The imagery, this first spread, this is unfinished, okay, but this first spread was supposed to be Hellstone is where Margaret is from, and it's this like beautiful countryside, and you have the male interest, which was his name. I don't remember his name, sorry. He's from Milton, and it's like this groomy, disgusting, polluted city. Just the contrast between those 2 people start exactly from where they're from, and all of their values clash together, and I love the resolution of the story. It was beautiful. I love North and South so much. I remember actually researching a lot of the book Out of Africa by Karen Blixen, which was an interesting read, to say that. Okay, if you know me and you've heard me talk about books, you know that I love Circe by Madeline Miller. It's one of my favorite books. Of course, I went all out with the spread. I think this is also one of my favorite spreads that I've done. Just the visuals of the book, to me, ethereal. She started out so innocent, so afraid, so caged, grew into this despair. Look at this. Look at this quote. Look at this freaking quote. I could go on and on about this book. I literally could. So I will move on to the next book, which was Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This was another 5-star read. Like, 2022 was such a good year of books for me. I found so many new favorites. Romance fantasy about these 2 characters that are so strong and so united. This was me trying to solve, and then there were none. I failed, of course. I read The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, which is another of my favorite books. I wrote Cats, Ballroom Dances, Secret Worlds, Infinite Libraries, More Cats, an ode to bookworm stories and how much they mean to readers. And then this is a quote. This is kind of a visual from the book. I also read Rebecca this year. 2022 was a blessed year for books. Rebecca also changed my brain chemistry. A dreamer, I walked enchanted, and nothing held me back is still a quote that I love so much. 2023 arrived. I got really sucked into studying for my exam in November, and then I ended up reading really little. I don't even know the number of books I read this year, but it wasn't much. But what I did do, I wanted to do a midnight reading challenge. Did all of these spreads on Taylor's album, and each song. And so I wanted to read books kind of themed with the songs. Midnight Rain and The Awakening by Kate Chopin. Kind of like, can y'all see the resemblance of the lyrics to the book if you have read the book? I print out book bingos that I wanted to do. And then I like to do these full pages where you can see all of the covers of all of the books that I read in this year. I haven't done it for 2023. For the last few months of the year of 2024, this will do just fine. But I definitely want to open a new one in 2025 next year. I just love all of my journals, but this one holds particularly a very special place in my heart. I have a very dire need to update it so I can finish it with a little bow. The last journal is of course my bullet journal. This is the Rebecca quote that I told y'all, and I also did a setup of this journal so you can see exactly how it looks. But this is kind of more personal stuff. This is a photo of me. Instead of a letter, I just put a photo of me when I was a kid. But yeah, this is kind of more personal. It has a lot of like personal stuff in here, so I didn't want to like really show a lot. Movies, I've watched actually a couple of movies so far, not too many, but these were kind of the ones that stood out to me most. And the albums, I think I'm going to print out Solar Power, which has been the album of my summer, but I feel like mainly Torch the Poets has been the album of the year for me. And even though it's mid-August, I haven't done any spread, any weekly spread. This is how discombobulated I am right now. Not even one weekly spread. These are my babies. I love them dearly. I feel like it's getting late. I didn't realize that I was gonna do a freaking tour of my journals, but I really enjoyed it and I hope you enjoyed too. Tomorrow I'm going to update, I think, the reading journal first. I'm gonna go to bed now. Tomorrow will continue. So I actually decided to order this book. I was reading it on ebook, and then I just decided that I had to have a physical copy of it and annotate it physically because it is just so good. I think you've seen me pick up my next read as well. I'm in the middle of these five books. Wow. This is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and I was so excited because I was really looking forward to this exact cover and paperback. I was searching for it online and I couldn't find it. I could only find the hardcover. And nowadays I rarely buy books that I haven't previously read before on ebook because I need to be 100% certain that I'm going to be enjoying the book or I'm going to be rereading the book. It's very rare that I haven't read the book before I purchase it, but this has been highly recommended to me. I'm really excited to have a book like this in October. I think I'm gonna wait until fall. This is about Emily Wilde. She's this professor and researcher going into this small village, and I've heard that the book is really atmospheric and that has romance, but also this very cute, fantastical side. And look at the cover.